Okay, so we're going to be talking now to 1010, the navigator, and she's going to give her perspective of everything, what led her up to this point, and then the time that she's been here for the 3 days.
Well, I started following Rat December 12th or the 15th, around that time. I had a few dreams. I spent quite a bit of time looking on YouTube to find someone I knew existed, was able to find Rat and his perspective on 1972, and it really started opening up my mind to a lot of different things. He did a video on generations, and that was another thing, thinking about the ABXYZ and how it's present on controllers, like game controllers, and we use it in math, and why we use those particular things, what's the significance behind that. He did a trip to Alcor for cryogenics, and at that point in time, I spent, after he spoke to the lady at Alcor, she said that I don't think she knew what the symbol was about, or the logo, or anything. So I think I spent quite a bit of time researching that star, Alcor, and the constellation Ursa Major, along with the Big Dipper, and what that had to do with cryogenics and why you would name your company Alcor to begin with. But if you Google the star Alcor, you can see that there are a few correlations, but you'll only get them really if you understand what's going on, the verbiage that's being used. So I ended up meeting Rat and also, not sure, the gatekeeper out here, and we spent, I think we went out to the cave about 3 times.
Wait, back up real fast.
Yeah.
Talk about your significance of your birth date and your numbers with 10 and X marks the spot, and how you became the navigator.
So after talking with X for a while about certain things, my mind just started going through numbers and sequences and things like that. If you take 172 and you take 1 plus 7 plus 2, it equals 10. My birthday, it consists of 10, 10, and if you add the 1982, if you take 1 plus 9, that equals 10, and then 8 plus 2 equals 10. And I also looked at my birth weight, which is 9 pounds 8 ounces. You take that, that's 17, and my length was 20 inches, which puts me at 172. There were a lot of other correlations that took place. I won't really share them, but I learned at that point that 10 was significant to me, and also, he's X, so X is 10 in Roman numeral also. And at that point I knew that we were connected. So that just kind of like led me to this point, being out here and being the navigator. I always liked maps. I never really thought I was good with numbers, but apparently I found a niche. But a lot of that stuff just, I couldn't make it up if I tried. I know X, his birthday, his numbers correlate with the number 12, and there's a significance there. He's born in 1972, I'm born in 1982, and we're 10 years apart from each other. And some people might say, well, it's kind of silly, but the amount of it was just overwhelming at some point, so you couldn't ignore it. It wasn't like 1 or 2 things. It was like pretty much a list, a really big list. I wish I would have wrote it down. But coming back to where we are now, we went out to the cave.
Wait, one more thing for the navigator. So,
okay,
because you're so interested in maps, and what do you have mapped out on your arm?
Oh, I have the
naturally.
The Big Dipper. I have it mapped out on my arm.
Your whole life, and you've had the and because it's freckles, right?
It's freckles, yeah.
You have the Big Dipper and freckles on your and what is where is the Alcor Star?
The Alcor Star on the inner part of my biceps. Yeah, it's under Mesor.
That makes you the navigator. 10, X marks the spot.
Yeah.
So that's your significance, and that's why you're able to find it. So yeah, go ahead and talk about your 3 days being here.
The first night, or the first day that we got here, we spent quite some time setting up camp, and then we went out to the cave where the guardian showed us the way, and we just looked around and got a feel for everything, and it was a really nice experience. The land here is really beautiful. And then the second day, you and I just went out there to the cave, and at that point, you had scaled up on the rocks, and you looked down into the cave, and you spotted a very large something. I think you thought maybe it was a cat, but at this point, we're really not sure. We can't confirm what it was or what it is. And that night, when we...
How long did I stay up there for, so people know?
Oh, about 10 or 15 minutes.
And I was talking to it.
You were talking to it.
I was prepared to fight with it. Yeah, I was sung to it.
You might have done a little dance up there
to greet and fight whatever was going to happen.
Yep. And
my intentions was to scale down into the cave, right? To go inside the cave, because we all were in agreement that we believed that we needed to get inside the cave to find the gateway. But then when after the cat, what happened next?
And I forgot to mention this on the first day that we went out there, that there's this rock that landed perfectly and down into the ground on its side, and I remember mentioning that to you. And I know X, you have your own experience with that, or I should call you rats so that people don't get confused, but it was obvious that we were connected to that particular object. Like it drew us in, but we were focused on the cave at that point. And yeah, you were going to go inside and scale down and see what was in there. And that night, we had a few interesting things happen to us out here at the campsite. Around the same time, I want to say it happened. I don't know if it happened to your vehicle first and then...
It happened to me first when you two were gone, and I said that when you guys were gone, I said, hey, I heard like a bang, and then I felt like a big shove against the van.
Right.
And you guys were gone. You guys went into town. That was the first night, and I literally felt like something was trying to, like something like hit the van heavy, like a heavy thud, which was probably the same animal that was in the cave. Nothing.
It's hitting the side.
No evidence of any footprints or anything. So all three of us experienced the vehicle getting rocked. Okay, so continue on to the next part of the story with your on the third day.
On the third day, we went back out to the cave, which was, each day had its purpose, and it was setting a foundation. Like the first day we went, the second day. But the third day, we went out there, and I had a good feeling that something was going to happen. I just didn't know what it was going to be. I was hoping that maybe the portal would open so Sean would, have his dream, or that's not a dream, but have this thing happen for him, because it's something that conclusion. Conclusion was something that he really wanted, and I was really hoping that would happen for him. So we get out to the site again, and we stayed out there for it was like a couple hours, I think, that we waited. And we did all kinds of things. We sang, we danced, we talked to the wall or to the door. We talked. We tried to look for like different objects around, what do you call it?
Like buttons or something?
Buttons, and we found like a bear on the door, is what we'll call it, or the gateway. We found a Y. We found different types of animal, I don't know, just presence in the rock. I don't know how to explain that, but so we're out there, and we're just trying everything possible to open the door at this point. And since I'm the navigator, yes, there was a little bit of pressure to perform, but I knew something clicked in my brain, and there's a reason for Alcor. There's a reason for the star. There's a reason for the Big Dipper, and there's a reason for the Great Bear, which the Big Dipper is inside of. And she had me download this application called Skyview. It just clicked in my head that maybe the constellation would be on the rock. And when I opened up my application and put it up against the rock, the Big Dipper was on this gateway, this door. And I took pictures of it and also confirmed with her phone as well. So did X, or Rat. We knew at that point that was a big confirmation for us that our trip out here wasn't, there was a lot of things that we learned, but this was definitely like the next step to something else. And it was just a really awesome experience being able to work with them and being with them. So we came back to the campsite, and I think we had another bump in the night, but and some weird stuff happening outside of the vehicles. So, but we weren't hurt by anything. No animals. Nothing negative that I could sense as far as when it came to the animals or whatever was trying to contact us. So, and now we're here, and whatever the next step might be, I'm really looking forward to see what happens.